So today we're working on a short film, and the beauty of working on a film solo is that I get to take my time. And what I really mean is this, is I get to really try some real creative things. When you're on an episodic and you're just, you have 2 days, 3 days to get through something, 1 day, depending on how long, because 30-minute content, half-hour content versus hour drama stuff is totally different when it comes to schedule. When I was working on Modern Family for a little bit, we got 1 day per episode. I mean, mind you, they're 23-minute episodes, because commercials, so it's only a half-hour show. But we only got 1 day done. With my content that I'm working for streaming stuff, mind you, we have nowadays, especially with the longer content, we have the same amount of time that we would have for a 42-minute episode. Maybe we're pushing, 60 minutes sometimes. Longer episodes, we still only have 3 days. Now, it does vary. I have had shows where we get 5-day mixes, and those are great. It's fantastic. But here we are, we're working on a short film. An awesome editor that I worked with on a previous project, Interior Chinatown. We are working on a short film together. Short films are so much fun. You get to try all different kinds of things. And what I'm doing specifically in this setup, now mind you, this is a luxury, and I realize that anybody who's watching this video doesn't have that luxury, and that's okay. What I'm working on today is I'm actually splitting my sessions up. So over here, I have the dedicated effects session. So all my hard effects, sound design, my background effects, and my Foley will be on this board. Okay, now this is a dedicated computer. This computer is hooked up and it's sent via connection over here. What are we using? I forget what we're using, but we're sending signal out of this Pro Tools into this particular Pro Tools in the middle. And this is a dubber. This dubber right here has all my stems. It's got my 5.1 print master. It's got my mix down of my stereo 2-track, my mono, my dialogue, my 5.0 dialogue, my 5.1 effects, my mono dialogue, my music left and right, my stereo effects, basically anything you can think of. Over here, I have the dedicated session for just my dialogue, my ADR, any group if I had it, my music, my score, of course. And so I go ahead and I individually mix on this side and I mix on that side, and then I link them together via satellite, okay? And I think we're using some kind of like MADI or some interface. Let's see, what are we using? A Dadman. Okay, yeah, Dadman, that's what we're using. To send the audio, digital audio rather. So in my session here, I will go ahead and make all my adjustments on this side, and then I'll make all my adjustments on that side. So there's a lot of this. And then back over here and do that. Now, mind you, you might ask, Joel, why are you wasting your time? Friend, I actually love splitting things up when I can. Now, mind you, there's a template available for me if I want to just stay on one side. And that's most of what you're doing, friend, is you're mixing your sound all in the box, right? And I get that. But today, I wanted to give you a little glimpse into what the setup looks like here. I'm working in 5.1. I love working in 5.1. That is the least, I will no longer, stereo mixes are not a thing for me, especially in post-production sound. Now, mind you, I get it. You're probably working on maybe some content for some creators, some YouTube content, which I get. This YouTube channel is in stereo, right? And I'm telling you, YouTube one day is going to come out with, you're going to be able to stream 5.1. I don't think we're there yet. If I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Let me know in the comments. But this content is exclusively mixed in 5.1. Those who are new to 5.1, left, center, right monitors, left surround, right surround, and then my subwoofer, which is down there, big guy right there, okay? But as a general rule of thumb, for any film, any project I'm working on, I'm keeping the dialogue in the center. Now, we talk about mixing being subjective. You don't necessarily need to follow a certain set of rules, but I will tell you there are a certain set of guidelines. And one of the biggest thing is to remember that dialogue is king. Dialogue is your storyteller. It's a driving force, the narrative force to your film, to your TV show, to your commercial, your online content, whatever it is. Words are king. So the dialogue generally sits in the center. It sits in the middle, okay? Now, as a general rule of thumb, we don't typically do a lot of panning. Your character walks over here, walks over there, behind us. We don't do it because we don't want a lot of ping-ponging. You know, Wimbledon, back and forth, boom, 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 right? That being said, there are instances, right, because I know you've probably heard them and experienced them, where dialogue does move to the right or behind us, and that is exclusively because either the script or the story is taking us that way. Maybe it's a one-off and somebody's over there yelling, getting your attention, hey, Joel, blah, 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 blah. Then we'll throw that to the side. But generally, if we see them, we're staying here because we don't want our audience to be doing that, getting distracted. Mixing in surround, you don't want to get gimmicky. It's the same with mixing in Dolby Atmos, right? In Dolby Atmos, you're introduced to a whole array of speakers and monitors where you can pinpoint the sound, the source of the sound, up to the top, whether it's a helicopter flying over, a bird up in a tree, a squirrel up in the attic running around. But you don't want to get gimmicky with it because, again, you don't want your audience to be doing this, right? And missing the key words and dialogue to the plot, okay? So as a general rule of thumb, don't get gimmicky with it. Keep your dialogue in the middle. Your sound effects obviously will follow anything on the screen, whether you have a car by that comes around. Maybe you have something that you want to get creative and put some sound in the surrounds, where maybe it starts in the center channel, moves over to the right, and then goes over to the surrounds on the right here and behind us. And maybe it goes all the way around. I one time had a project where I was working with a helicopter, and you can get the helicopter and you can start in the center, especially in 5.1, and just go around all the way around. Atmos, even cooler, because now what you were restricted as a plane right here, you can now bring up to the top of the theater, right? Or your home Atmos, the speakers. And now you can feel like, as if in real life, you're hearing helicopters up on top. Because in real life, think about it. Do we hear sound of anything that's up in the air down here? No, we hear it up there, right? And so our goal is to help tell the story without getting gimmicky. So I love working on short films. I love when I get the opportunity to really dig in and take some time and try things. And that's another thing. It's that you have to be open to feedback. Because when you're working with a filmmaker, when you're working with somebody who has worked with this project for months, if not years, sometimes, you have to trust their intuition. You have to trust their visionary mind. What are they trying to communicate? Our job is to help them communicate that story. We've all been there. Those of us who've navigated this industry for many years, we've all had clients who have just been nightmare clients, where you're like, why, giving a note and saying, why do you want to do that? Let's do this. No, I want to do this. Friend, let me remind you something very crucial and important. It is not your project. It's not your story. Our job is to help tell those stories. Now, mind you, we get hired for our expertise because we have learned and mastered the technical side, but also how to take the technical and bring it to life creatively to help tell stories for a filmmaker. So, friend, we must understand that as much as we are technical artists, we are also in a customer service industry. We are there to serve our clients who usually sit in the back and tell me, raise that line, do that, go over here, do this. That is very important to remember. So as I get ready to address some notes from our director, I want to remind you, friend, that it's not a project. And if you find yourself, like I have and so many other people have in the past, you find yourself in a position where you're pushing against maybe what your filmmaker wants to try to do, and you know, like, oh, I think this is going to be better this way. Have a good attitude about it, okay? I want to remind you that. Have a good attitude about it. And if the opportunity does come up, maybe when they're on the stage with you, or in your home studio, your garage, wherever it is, or you're going back and forth sharing files, then be open to maybe, hey, what if we try this? And if you get pushed back and they don't want to do that, that's okay, friend. That's okay, right? We are doing the best we can with the time that we are given. And that's another big thing to remember, right? The difference between mixing TV, film, streaming, commercials, it really goes down to how much time do we have? What is the time and what is the budget? Because sometimes, friend, let me tell you, you don't have a lot of money and not a lot of time. The best thing that you can provide is what we call an OMF mix or an AAF mix, right? Just take the work tracks, take what's coming out of the Avid, take what's coming out of Final Cut, Resolve, whatever they have, and take the tracks that the editor has placed, whether it's the dialogue, the sound effects, and the music, and just mix that. Sometimes that's all they need, right? But when the budgets start to increase and you have some more time and you can get in and really say, hey, we're going to really need, a couple weeks of editorial and maybe a week of mixing, that's when you can start to kind of help guide the process when it comes to bringing your best and really helping your filmmaker deliver the best soundtrack available. Well, friends, I'm going to get back to work, but I hope you didn't mind a little behind the scenes conversation about my mindset and philosophy. Friend, I know you're working on some really amazing things. And as we jump into the new year, friend, I want you to start thinking about how can I show up my best self when it comes to my mixing for my clients and for yourself, friend. And if you're interested in really jump-starting 2026, friend, I want to personally invite you to apply to work one-on-one with me. Friend, I am opening 10 spots to work with me personally this coming year. And let me tell you, I'm talking about deep personalized coaching, whether it's limiting beliefs, mindset approach, technical approach. You want to take your mixes to the next level, or maybe you're straight out of college and you don't know the next steps. Friend, I want you to consider to apply to work one-on-one closely with me. All the information you need to know how we can work one-on-one together will be down in the description below. Friend, this is an opportunity that I don't want you to sleep on. So I will catch you over here in one of these other videos or in next week's episode. Bye, friend.